Yeah, it's been hard to watch today and unfortunate in some regards. And I love your take, which is both of these men deserve great credit for their contributions to help save civilization. Elon Musk bought Twitter, which of course became X a couple years ago, which liberated speech. And then, of course, President Trump built the most amazing political movement we've ever seen. He was shot, almost shot again. He was impeached twice. He was facing 700 years in federal prison. And he was so clear about not surrendering and not backing down and not giving up. I will say it's a tough thing to watch, this public feud. I actually think they're going to reconcile at some point, though, because deep down, I would like to believe they both want the same thing.
I thought that was a perfect way.
Wow, that was interesting. Have they reconciled?
Yes, they sat together at his memorial service for a while. And I just thought that was so perfect that, kind of he died to make it happen, but they did reconcile. And I guess Elon backstage said something like, I'm proud to sit with my president, and that we all must hang together or surely we will hang separately. The Ben Franklin quote.
Yeah, wow. So, that's a great quote.
I think that it's good.
It's good to have him back on the team, Eric.
Yes. I mean, obviously, he's volatile, but he's an important
He's volatile.
figure.
He's he's got thin skin. I mean, he's on the spectrum. He's autistic. I mean, you get the whole package, I guess.
Well, the good thing is right now he seems to be back on the team in the right manner, where he's focusing on his companies, his whole America party. He seems to be letting just fallow off and die. So run your company,
back on his meds.
Where you can.
His meds might be working properly. Sometimes you have to adjust the meds.
Some are legal, some are illegal with him.
Some are legal, some are illegal. But I mean, he's probably on Depakote, I want to say, or something like that, or Seroquel, just to name a few of the popular bipolar drugs.
Fair enough. He also is very, very big on ketamine, I believe. And
ketamine, he likes.
He takes his stuff. I mean, it's not he's not hiding the ball. So I don't know. But while of course that was going on, where were the Obamas? Well, I guess they were with Steven Spielberg on his yacht.
Is that true?
Yep. Apparently were spotted on his yacht over the weekend. Let's see, I actually have a story, and for some reason we
what is that, a movie thing? Like a movie deal?
Probably just buddies.
Well, I'm just thinking that his movie deal might be running out at Netflix.
You say, Michelle, come to me, Michelle.
Tuesday, Friday afternoon from Italian intelligence agency, diplomatic vehicles. Did you see what's going on in Italy, by the way, because they refuse to recognize Palestine? I mean, they are rioting in the streets nonstop, Eric. I don't know. They're in Italy, I think. Oh, it is Italy. Yeah.
Giorgio Moroni. I think she just flat out said, if you're illegal, you're gone. So she's just doing a total hardliner, which is good. Well, no, I mean, Italy maybe has better odds of saving their country than England is going through right now. But I mean, it has to be a hard line.
Yeah,
they're being taken over.
Yeah,
Maloney. Sorry,
Maloney. Yeah.
And good for her. I think that they've got to do this. It's getting insane.
Well, they're fighting. They're fighting in the streets right now. The Palestinians versus the Italians. I mean, they have let the enemy in through the gate, and now they are feeling the wrath of their enemy. They're not going to go quietly, Eric.
Well, no.
They're on a socialist financial benefit package. I mean, where are they going to go? I mean, unless they get a Trumpian guy to come in there and, begin their process, they're going to be dealing with this for decades.
Yeah. I was listening to Gad Saad talking about that, and essentially, some of the problems, like one, it's a supremacist religion, meaning they will take over. And one of the elements he pointed out I didn't realize is that if Islam ever takes over a territory and they lose that territory or they don't have it, they will fight tooth and nail. It is an affront to them that they should ever, lose something. And I can see them. They're like, hey, we've got a foothold in Italy and we're going to fight to the death. They're not
fighting to the death. They're in that footage looks like Berlin in 1933, with communists versus the fascists. I mean, holy cow.
Yep. And
I mean, apparently they don't have access to weapons, but I think that's coming next. I think they are going to begin secretly shipping weapons into the Palestinians in Western Europe.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them. And I love how Trump was calling out the UN today to their face. That's one thing I like about him is.
Dude, how about Macron, not being able to? Dude, that was insane.
Excuse me, Mr. President, help.
Now he's walking with his French delegation through the streets of New York to get to the UN.
Imagine that
on the wrong streets half the time.
I can see Trump. Hey, go ahead and walk. It's a walkable city. Oh my God. I don't know. It is insane. Speaking of the conference, did you see the story about the Secret Service and the cell phones?
No, I did, but I couldn't figure out what that was.
Okay, let me pull that up. That is really...
What was that?
It's really interesting. They essentially found a cache of SIM cards, and we're talking about over 100,000 SIM cards were already activated. So what they'd be doing is putting all these SIM cards like in SIM servers. So you'd have a computer that was acting like, 100 to 1,000 cell phones that are hitting at the same time. And the system they had set up could flood 30 million texts a minute.
What? Wow.
Well, then it saturates all the cell phone towers. Nobody can get a cell phone message through it because the towers are being completely blocked. You've heard of denial of service attacks, right?
Right. Is that what
that is? Well, that's what it appears they were building is the infrastructure to create a denial of service right during the UNGA. And if there was an attack or something, think of how horrible that would be if something happened and nobody's cell phone worked, nobody could text, nobody could make a phone call, nothing.
Interesting.
Very, very frightening. And I forgot, we think about Secret Service all the time with the Presidential Protection Unit. However, they do have a pretty large IT infrastructure. One of the people I interviewed, Brett Johnson, was the number one most wanted from the Secret Service cyber criminal, and they busted him. He spent, I believe, over a decade in prison. Hard time.
So who had this operation? Where is it? In Lower Manhattan, Eric? Or
it's in New York.
Who was running this thing?
And they're still looking because this is
on. So they must know who had the store or the building or the apartment. I mean, how much could they be looking?
Well, it's just saying the feds are investigating whether the devices have ties to a foreign government.
Okay,
the odds are pretty good. This feels like a state action,
right?
Or a terror action. Somebody who has
could be terror, but it's expensive what they're doing.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
absolutely expensive.
Yeah, Macron kept wandering through the streets of New York. He called Trump on the phone, and because the police rightfully would not let him drive any further, and Trump told him to walk. And what do? You're the head of France, and the president of the host country says you got 2 feet. Walk.
It's a walkable city. It's
a walkable city. I'll tell you a funny story. They were shooting. Oliver Stone was shooting World Trade Center, the movie. Down by the World Trade Center, and they were driving in a bus. There's a scene in the movie where the police are driving down to the bombing on a police bus, and Danny Nucci, an old friend of mine, stands up and says something, and Oliver doesn't like the way he keeps standing up and yelling whatever the hell Nucci yells in this movie.
Okay.
And he says, let's take a walk. And he takes Nucci and he goes for a walk to talk to him about his scene. And Oliver, being Oliver, lights up a joint, and he starts walking and smoking this joint, telling Nucci about what he's supposed to be doing in the scene. And Nucci's listening to him, saying, okay, Oliver, okay, I'll do it. I could do it. I get it. And they're walking and walking and walking. And Oliver says, let me ask you one question, Danny. And he says, what is it, Oliver? He says, where the fuck are we? They're completely lost in the lower Manhattan. The crew can't find Oliver and Danny Nucci. They're waiting to shoot this scene of World Trade Center, and he's disappeared into the bowels of the Wall Street tombs down there.
Ooh. Okay.
Very funny story.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, sorry, I wanted to catch up here.
Yeah,
this just broke today. Literally, we did talk about it. Ryan Routh was found guilty. Apparently, some weird stuff happened with the trial, though, and the reading of the sentence.
Let's go to Dana Marie McNichol, who's live outside the courthouse. And Dana Marie, do we know the timing of the reading of the verdict at this point?
John, I just have a lot of breaking news in terms of the sequence of what happened right after the verdict was read. Now, it is quite shocking. As the verdict was read, it appeared to our producers inside the courtroom that Routh tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen. That's what it appeared to look like. Then 4 marshals dragged him out of the courtroom, took his coat off. They then shackled him at the waist and ankles.
Whoa.
And then they brought him back into the courtroom. So again, this just in from our producers. As the verdict was being read, Routh tried to hurt himself in the neck with a pen. Now we just saw that emotional reaction from that daughter, and now we know exactly why. So when Routh was brought back into the courtroom, that's when her daughter stood up, started yelling and screaming. She said to her father, "Don't do anything. I'm going to get you out of here." This is what our producers are telling us just into the newsroom. She also screamed many expletives, and that's when we saw her run out of the courtroom. The video that we were seeing just moments ago of her not wanting to speak with the media, her evading the media, and then running off camera, as you see there. So just very, very shocking.
Anyway, I wanted to share. I didn't know if you had heard.
I heard this. She looks like a blonde Sasquatch there with her arms moving back and forth. She was yelling a lot of F-bombs at everyone while heading to her car. Look, I mean,
falling from trees.
The guy defended himself, and now he's as an attorney. I don't think he could work for others. He's going to not be able to have a career as an attorney.
Well, in jail, he could be a jailhouse attorney.
He's going to be a jailhouse lawyer for a while, and he's going to use this all for his appeal. He's going to find someone else to represent him on the outside world, saying he had a fool for an attorney and blah blah blah. And he's going to add in the mental illness, the self-harm thing is another example. I guess that's where this is going.
I guess, or he's just going to be locked up for the rest of his natural born life.
I hope so.
Which is a very distinct possibility. He did all the dramatics and whatever. He's had his moment. Now he's locked down, and carry him off. Bye-bye.
Well, it's weird because he could have had a court-appointed attorney and maybe made some sort of a plea deal. You know, I mean, I don't know how far it would have gotten, but he apparently didn't get there.
I don't know what he'd have to offer unless there were people who were helping supply him and information. Then that
I would make something up. I don't care. I would make up some sort of bullshit story to get some ears shaved off that thing. Anything.
That's true.
I mean, it's up to you to prove it's not true as a prosecutor, you know, who's trying to make the deal. Which is not so easy, Eric.
That's true. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe he's a true believer. I just had a thought yesterday when I'm interviewing somebody who works on campuses and was talking about the schools, and I was thinking, you know, there's true believers and there's useful idiots.
Yeah.
And I think you could break down a lot of people into those two categories.
And they overlap sometimes. It's not exactly black and white.
The true believers, I think, use the useful idiots. So is he a true believer or a useful idiot?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's funny. Marjorie Smith said, "My attorney assaulted me."
Yeah, I was attacked by my own attorney in the courtroom, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of. I put up the famous Woody Allen thing from Take the Money and Run, where he's interrogating himself on the witness stand, which he stole from the Three Stooges, who also did the same thing with Curly, interrogating himself on the witness stand in a Three Stooges episode. But Woody Allen does it in a courtroom scene as well, where he's a lawyer and then he jumps on the stand, then he jumps off.
Fair enough. All right. My favorite story, and it's the thumbnail for today.
Yeah.
And it hopefully,
wow.
affects us personally.
Yeah.
Google is to reinstate banned YouTube accounts censored for political speech.
Yeah.
Now, this is really interesting. We have obviously felt the impact of censorship from YouTube. And I talked to another creator earlier, I will not name because he discussed things, but he got a phone call, not an email, a phone call from his partner manager. It's a large channel.
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa, oh shit. You know, when you get a phone call, it's like, what is something wrong? And they happen to say, well, you know, one of your biggest performing videos where, you know, millions of views and you got like half of the money or whatever. Yeah, that was kind of a mistake on our part. Well, yeah, I mean, there was a few other videos. Maybe we blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. But what irritates me about this is I will name another creator, and that's Allison Morrow, who is a friend of mine. And Allison Morrow has been raked through the coals by YouTube. Like you and I, we think we have a problem. She has been demonetized. I mean, whole channel demonetized, videos removed, blacklist, everything else, to where she's struggling. She's been at over 100,000 subs for a while, and her channel's just drying up. It's suppressed so hard.
Let me ask something. With this revelation, does that open the door to a class action suit by their admission publicly that they indeed were doing privately what everyone said they were doing?
Well, I don't know, but there's some
it's like a confession on the part of the.
It is a confession, but what's really creepy about this is they were acting as government agents. They were told by the Biden administration to suppress these channels, so they were acting on behalf of the government. So it is absolutely a First Amendment violation.
Yeah,
like if they just ban channels because they're like, you went against our community policy, then okay.
Well, the two I think are right off the bat is Bongino and Steve Bannon. Well, I mean, the Bongino one led to the creation of Rumble.
Partly, no, Rumble already existed, but yes.
Yeah.
But
those channels were completely removed, Eric.
Yes, and Zuckerberg also has admitted that the Biden administration was put down. So I don't know.
Let me just ask you something. It reminds me of there's obviously a different case, but the case against Manson was that he told these girls to kill, and he didn't physically show up, Charles Manson. Just because Joe Biden told you to do something, that doesn't absolve you from violating the civil rights of hundreds of millions of Americans.
Well, here's the funny part about it. Because the government told them to do it, that is what violated the civil rights. Again, if the government never said anything and they just were assholes and just removing channels, there would be no case here.
Absolutely
so I don't know where to go after them, but it's a lot of too little too late, which is really a pisser, because it's like same thing. It's like, oh, well,
they stole all this money though. If you're saying they're calling up this guy and restoring these videos and restoring the monetary money that they stole, it really is a transfer of wealth.
But they're not restoring anything. They're just saying, oh, we just took off the suppression. How about making more videos?
They're saying it now to avoid a lawsuit by the guy, by trying to placate, it sounds like.
I don't even know. It is so weird. And I'm saying, what are you going to do with the Allison Morrows who have been shut down completely, or us? We've been tiny room censored forever. I would like to see, you know what, if YouTube could shadow ban, how about amplify? How about, for these channels that you have harmed, that you've suppressed or whatever, why don't you feature them? Why don't you start recommending them a little bit more?
I think that would be part of a settlement discussion with them in a class action suit, saying this is what would make everyone whole, A, B, C, D, and E. You know what I mean? Then individually, I mean, what is it? Every man for himself at this point? It really needs some body to take this by the horns and represent 5,000 different creators, or even 100,000. I mean, there's plenty of class action suits that represent tens of thousands of people.
I'm thinking there might be another approach. Harmeet Dillon.
Yeah.
Could there be a question? Again, you said civil rights.
Yeah.
And I start thinking of that.
Yeah.
And because these channels were of a conservative bent, or they were exercising their freedom of speech, discussing things like the hot shot. So we're so trained. I don't even want to say it now. You're supposedly allowed to say the disease all you want, but I'm so trained because of
you train me. I'm just a trained monkey.
Well, and
I don't
that's
know.
the idea.
Yeah.
I think
It
that
could be
it
a
would be
civil rights
interesting to
violation.
explore that with the DOJ, and then that could force the settlements on how to, take care of the channels.
Well, isn't it odd that Google was the last soldier on the island of Japan? This guy wouldn't go down until finally subpoenaed by Jim Jordan, the Google guy. He knew the handwriting was on the wall.
And by the way, you know who we owe all the credit to for this whole thing? Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
If Elon Musk did not buy Twitter, because
absolutely.
Brett Weinstein made the comment that 0 is a very dangerous number. Now, when Twitter was controlled, nobody had a voice anywhere. We were all scrambling in the dark trying to get anything out there. Yeah. And because Elon did this and released the Twitter files, which, by the way, I think Matt Taibbi and crew deserve a Pulitzer Prize.
No, they're not going to get it out of this Pulitzer group. Absolutely deserve it.
I mean, there's nothing more representative of the Fourth Estate, in my opinion, than showing government interference in communication of the citizens.
They sent me my file. I was shadow banned for years. I was astonished to see my own file. And I'm nobody. I mean, I'm not a big fish, but apparently it was quite pervasive.
Yes. And because he did that, it was very hard for Zuckerberg to hide the fact, because everybody looked and they go, well, wait a minute. If you had weekly meetings at Twitter with the FBI and blah, 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 then what about these other ones? It's like, of course they did. And so then Zuckerberg kind of slinked along and he tried to play it off. He was like, well, I got burned on this, so therefore I'm going to now turn on them. Here, let me suck up and try to gain favor. And then now, of course.
Well, the Google guy's blaming the Biden administration too. I mean, he's saying, they made me do it, which is an interesting defense. Now, what's her name is out on the stump now, Kamala Harris, with her new book blaming the Biden administration for her word salads. I mean, I was trying to listen to her on The View with Sonny Hostin. I don't even know what she was saying, Eric.
Well, she did. She did.
Did you hear that?
Hold on. I have a clip of her.
Okay.
This one's one of my favorites, because it's her going to Rachel Maddow trying to explain what she didn't write, but she did write. When it's circle, it's some good word salad. So let's start with that one. I think it's a good place.
And right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump.
It's a communist dictator.
And these titans of industry are not speaking up. And perhaps it is because his threats and the way he has used the weight of the federal government to take out vengeance.
Sorry, that was the wrong clip, but that's a good one too, because of the whole communist dictator. That's the first thing I think.
I've never heard that before.
Right-wing president. All right, here we go. This is her talking.
I guess I'd ask you to just elaborate on that a little bit. It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
With you running as, you're the first woman elected vice president. You're a Black woman and a South Asian woman elected to that high office, very nearly elected president. To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay, it's hard to hear.
No, that's not what I said.
No,
that he couldn't be on the ticket because he is gay.
Now listen.
My point, as I write in the book, is that I was clear that in 107 days, in one of the most hotly contested elections for president of the United States against
someone
How
about the one before?
like Donald Trump, who knows no floor, to be a Black woman running for president of the United States and as a vice presidential running mate, a gay man, the stakes being so high, It made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk.
To her.
So what she just said is, no, I didn't say that.
Right. And then admitted she said it.
She said, and it's not me, Mark. It's these racist, horrible, homophobic American citizens. They can't handle.
Well, you could make the same argument about picking a black woman for vice president to break the glass ceiling and saying the country wasn't ready for it argument. She's essentially saying the ancient arguments of blacks and Latinos on the left saying we can't pick you because the country's not ready for it.
Yeah,
I mean, she's using the same storyline.
But meanwhile, saying I didn't say that.
Dude, this chick wants it every fucking way possible. This word salad, witchcraft, Weasley woman wants it every fucking way south of France. And then the Sonny Hostin one, which I heard on the radio. I don't know if you have a clip of it, but essentially when Sonny Hostin, she said repeatedly that she was radically different from Joe Biden. And nobody's ever seen any clip of her separating herself from Joe Biden during the race. Remember? I mean,
I remember Sonny Hostin specifically.
Right. Sonny Hostin asked her point blank on The View today. I mean, she was on today. Remember the question that I asked you about how are you different than Joe Biden?
Sure.
And her response was the same talking points about freezing wages. And she went she froze and then said about 15 of her talking points to show that they were just Democratic standard talking points to explain how different she was than Joe Biden.
But don't you like watching her circuits fry?
Yeah. I've seen that in rehab of girls who are completely addicted to weed. That circuitry reminds me, that look, that searching for rational thought is very reminiscent to me of women who are in rehab for wine and weed.
Okay. No, that makes sense. She also stated in both interviews, I don't have the clip of it, but it was the closest election in the 21st century. Somehow, poor Al Gore.
Yeah.
Tough shit, buddy. You're nobody. That's old news.
Yep.
Like, okay, right. It's so close that
how close
he won the popular vote for the first time in 20 years.
That was close.
Good God.
Dear God, is she a gaslighter in chief?
But she's not good at it. That's the thing. It's like
she's so bad at it.
Has a little bit of that.
Apparently, either Newsom refused to endorse her, and there's bad blood between the two of them now. Where I guess Newsom wants her to endorse him, which is never going to happen for president. You know, in other words, he wants someone to come out of the gate and endorse him right now, or as soon as possible, for 2028. He will be going on Jimmy Kimmel tonight, by the way, to very few people, Eric.
I know.
It's kind of a beautiful thing. Because he is the guest, of course, as I indicated, and Newsom will be the guest frequently on Alex Michelson on that show. But he's going on Kimmel tonight to take advantage of this limited Kimmel exposure. Because the numbers just don't add up for the Kimmel fans. And Variety is covering it a lot. His Deadline, you picked, one of the studio covering it. The numbers are so awkward for the ABC affiliates because Sinclair. Let me just put it this way, okay, for people at home, his viewership is about, the last time it was rated, it was like 1.1 million. Sinclair is about 400,000 of those, and Nexstar is about 440,000. So you're looking at 840,000 subtracted from 1.1 million, which is about 275,000. Those are the two markets of New York and LA. So what this show is going to become, in my prediction, is a bubble TV show of 200,000 people a night in New York and LA. And they are quite willing to keep that bubble TV show for the extreme far fringe left that watches him, that numbers 1 million people a night. And as others have pointed out, including Dan, who was on with Rob Schmidt last night for the first time, I think, Dan Turrentine, this is the extreme extreme far left of the Democratic Party that watches Newsom. And the reason they went crazy, including this cat up in Sacramento who shot up the ABC news station and was arrested up there, that guy thought he was getting away with it. It turns out that he is the legislative chief. This guy Santana, Eric, for the story up in Sacramento, where he shot up a drive-by shooting with a rifle, opened fire on the ABC affiliate with people inside. He was arrested, and they first said he was a nut. They tried to smear the story. They then refused to release his mugshot. They then refused to release his name. He then posted $200,000 bail. 10% would be about 20 grand, and decided at that point he's going to walk out the door free. Well, unfortunately for Mr. Santana, who is the legislative director for the California Federation of Teachers, this is not a nut. This is not a waiter. This is not a bartender.
I beg to differ. He's a nut, and he's in that organization.
Well, you could say that about the one who shot up Steve Scalise and the Republican softball team.
Agree.
He was the Bernie Sanders, a regional director of Bernie Sanders' campaign. Right. Again, this is a permanent big fish in Sacramento. He is a huge fish. Everybody knows this cat. This is not an obscure guy, Santana. Okay, so he posts the bail. They don't release the mugshot, and he goes out of the side door of the court of the jail into the waiting arms of Kash Patel and the FBI, who are holding him on federal terrorism charges.
Oh, I love it. And highly appropriate too, by the way.
Absolutely highly appropriate. But Nexstar, like I said, 430,000. Sinclair's about 400,000. So it leaves about 270 tonight. And it's split between New York and LA.
And can I point out, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that they represent it as it's only, like about 25 to 30% of all the channels. Right. However, the channels are Washington, D.C. and Kansas City and big ass cities.
Nice
so the population.
Nice try by Variety magazine to minimize the damage of tonight. They literally said what Eric did in the audience in their article, but the 30% represents 85% of the viewership in the United States between Sinclair and Nexstar. Nice try, Variety. Tip of the hat to you.
But that's what I figured. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're on that. That's really smart. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like we're not talking Topeka, we're talking Kansas City.
So, and other major markets. I mean, it adds up to nearly 1 million. I mean, the fact that he only has 1 million.
I don't even think he has that much, because somebody was doing the surveys, and I think he peaked at like 1.2 million last year.
1.1. Yeah, 1.1.
I want to say he has 160,000.
Oh, yeah. No. That's definitely true. And keep in mind, he's paid $20 million a year. She's paid, his wife is $5 million a year on a show that has 1 million viewers peaking, $25 million a year for the two of them. Never mind the budget of the show. He takes down 20. She takes down 5. His Contessa wife, who's the executive producer, who he hired as a writer, had sex with, and then married her, and she became executive producer, as things happen on the left in the entertainment world. That being said, it's a huge amount of money just between the two people. Forget about the 112 people who work there, who are regular blue collar grunts, most of them red state people. Sadly, not that they live in a red state.
I feel bad for them.
Yeah. Most of the crews and grips in this town are conservatives.
Or at least reasonable. They're working class.
They're working class. But what about Newsom giving that threat to Kristi Noem and the Secret Service driving up to Sacramento to interview Newsom for threatening her, saying, "You're next." That there's big news coming about her. I mean, holy crap. I mean, somebody has got to be arrested for these threats. You can't just keep shaming them thinking it's going to stop.
Well, somebody did get scared here.
Yeah.
Keith Olbermann. I apologize without reservation to Scott Jennings.
Sorry,
yesterday, I wrote and immediately deleted 2 responses to him about Kimmel because they could be misinterpreted as a threat to anything besides his career. I immediately replaced them with one specifying what I actually meant. Now, that covers all the people who are saying, if you read the context, it wasn't blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, no. What he wrote, he got caught. Now, here, I oppose and condemn political violence and the threat of it. All times are the wrong time to leave even an inadvertent impression of it, but this time is especially wrong. I should have acknowledged the deletion and apologized yesterday. I'm sorry I delayed.
You're not sorry you delayed. The point of the matter is he has to be arrested. You can't say, I'm going to kill the president of the United States. I have a gun. I'm coming for you. And then 3 days later saying, I was only kidding. That doesn't cut it in the law, Eric. That doesn't cut it. You can't make a terrorist threat against a public person like Scott Jennings, who's going to either run for the Senate or at least as a public newscaster, and say, only kidding, sorry.
Well, it doesn't even matter. Charlie Kirk was not running for anything.
Right,
and look what happened. Now, so you don't have to be in office. This has already been shown out.
Right, but I'm saying, I'm not saying that the office protects you from shields you from the law. You can't just make terrorist death threats about people.
I agree.
And apologizing 3 days later because the police have contacted you doesn't eradicate it.
Yeah.
What is this guy got a pardon from Joe Biden, Keith Olbermann? I don't get it.
I don't know. The guy is unhinged, and I think he rides the laughable line. Like everybody's like, "Oh, you're so freaking nuts and crazy and stupid." They just kind of ignore him.
It doesn't absolve you of the crime of threatening to kill someone.
I agree, and I'm just saying. I think he's using the gadfly defense, which we just discussed with Zinn. And yes, there's no excuse, and there needs to be some examples, even if they don't get locked up. At least arrest them. They can post bail. They can fight it out, cop a plea, whatever it is.
I've said this since day one. You got to physically arrest them. You don't have to win the case. I mean, this perfectionism that seems to be strangling the Justice Department is bizarre. If it is perfectionism, which it very well may be, they may be saying, oh, everything's just got to be perfect, Eric, before we go to a grand jury and this and that. So we have no indictment so far.
There is a lot of truth to that. I don't have the stats on hand.
Yeah.
But the federal conviction rate is so astronomical. It is scary. It is like, I want to say 95 to maybe even 99% convictions. They do not lose. Yeah. And I think part of the reason they do not lose is what you're saying, perfectionism. And they're so terrified if they ever lose any case. I mean, technically Diddy was a loss.
Yeah.
Even though he was convicted, it was not what they wanted. That was considered a loss and a humiliation on Comey.
Yeah.
Very fortunately.
Lost her job after that.
Shouldn't have had it to begin with before that, but whatever.
Right.
Anyway, it is rigged for them. And
but we got to talk about this Truth Social post by Trump because it's so bizarre. I don't know the one he put up and the one he took down and the one he put up.
Yeah, he's got like two, right? One is like, I can't stand you, and one I love you.
I mean,
it's gaslighting, real time.
The first one is a long list yelling at Pam Bondi saying, get off your fat ass and arrest these people.
Yes.
Obviously they're guilty, which I think is the reason he took it down. I can't prove it, but I think the reason he took it down is he says in the text that they're obviously guilty. Yeah. Or words to that effect, Eric, in the text.
Which it does imply political.
Yeah.
That's true. And then I get, okay, so this is from 3 hours ago. And now, congratulations to them.
Tell them what you've won, Pam.
This is just congratulating on Case. But he said something else, like, oh, she's wonderful. I'm like, okay, you're all over.
Yeah, the whole thing was so insane. I mean, it was about Siebert, in Northern Virginia, which we discussed last week. The democratically loved prosecutor who was a rhino getting appointed and about to be confirmed, who he pulled out. He yanked him out. He's not getting confirmed, but it was a long rant on Truth Social. I believed every single word of it. He was quoting other people on social media, railing against Pam Bondi. It looked like stuff we say every week.
Oh, here it is. Oh, it's still here.
It is? Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Here we go. Pam, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying essentially same old story as last time. All talk, no action. Wow. Nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam Schiff, Letitia? They're all guilty as hell. But nothing is going to be done.
The line. Yeah, but
Well, he didn't take it. It's right here.
It's still there. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Then we almost put a Democrat-supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past, a woke rhino who's never going to do his job, on and on and on. Yeah. And then he said, they impeached me twice, indicted me over nothing. Justice must be served now.
Yeah.
He didn't say a thank you for attention to this matter.
Right. I know.
And then right after, or later, Pam Bondi is doing a great job as Attorney General of the United States.
So schizophrenic.
He's very careful, very smart, loves our country, but needs. You know what? Oh, you know what? I know what happened.
What?
Okay. He tweeted that out, and then Susie Wiles came screaming into the room and said, "Sir, let me have your phone for a minute."
That's exactly
right. Sir.
Exactly right. That's exactly what happened. I agree. Somebody changed direction right there, and it's her benefactor. Susie Wiles owns Pam Bondi. She's running the Justice Department. In my humble opinion, I think Susie Wiles is actually running the Department of Justice at this time.
Well, he likes multiple jobs. I mean, how many does Rubio have? Who is doing a good job, by the way?
Yeah.
By all accounts, Rubio keeps surprising me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like great Secretary of State, National Security Advisor. What else is he? I think he has 4 jobs.
Yeah. Well, there's not enough guys to go around that you could trust. There's just not enough guys that who have your back, Eric.
I agree.
Everybody's got to wear 3 or 4 hats. Did you see Donald Trump Jr.'s impersonation of his father, by the way?
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
He got a whole back.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. That was funny. And Donald, and Trump's up there laughing his ass off. Like, and Dana White's next to him dying. But
what a crew. I mean, Dana White, Elon Musk was there, Trump, and some other people.
Well, I mean, 70,000 people, dude. They filled the
whole how much stadium. Does that place hold, Eric? I was staying across the street from it. I was staying in a hotel when Bobby Kennedy gave his speech from that place. And does it hold 75,000?
I think it holds a little bit more. They had to have certain areas cordoned off that they didn't have people. So, but they filled it, and they had to turn people away. 100,000 showed up. They only could seat like 70, I think it was. And
that's a big indoor arena if that seats that many. That sounds crazy.
Well, and also over 100 million people were watching. It was considered a Super Bowl level event.
That I could see. Did you hear there was a guy arrested the day before going in there with a gun and making believe he was an ex-security guard representing one of the dignitaries? He said he flashed a badge and he had a gun and a knife. And I think he was trying to plant him there. I think he was trying to leave because this was the day before.
Sure.
When they were just doing a walkthrough. Somebody called him over and they checked his ID and he was a phony security guard. He had ID, but it was phony.
They've got to watch.
Dude, I mean, you can't. These private security companies are sketchier than the actual security companies.
100%. And I mean that event too. I'm sorry, it gives me nightmares to consider. You had the president, you had the vice president, you had most of the administration, you had Elon Musk. We're past tense, but if you think about everyone who was there, if that got struck, it would have been.
I think he was trying to plant a gun in the bathroom or something. I think he was, because why would you go in with a weapon the day before? It doesn't help you to go in armed.
Sure. Or plant it for somebody else who was.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I think he was doing. I think he was looking for a spot to tuck this gun and knife in somewhere. I have no proof of that. It's just my feeling on it.
Well, odds are it'll start coming out.
Yeah.
But, somebody said ex-cop but expired credentials.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that was true.
Even worse. Great. All right, I want to jump to this story because I feel like our two worlds will collide in this story.
Yeah.
And we could both have an opinion on it. It's behind a paywall, but you probably already know about it.
Which one?
MLB officially beginning robot umpires era.
Yeah, we
ABS
saw that
approved
coming.
for 2026. Now that's going to be AI, I believe.
Yeah,
tracking the balls, whether it's a hit or a strike, following what I think they're doing in Wimbledon, determining if the balls are in and out, that they use the computer analysis for that.
Well, to be honest, the minor leagues have been using it for a number of years now. The minor leagues of MLB, and then in spring training, I was privy to it down in Phoenix, in Glendale. Actually, I was in Glendale, Arizona, where the Charlie Kirk thing was, to see the Dodgers play in spring training, and they were using it in spring training. It was highly effective. The umps have gone off the rails. I've been watching games the past 3 days, just yelling at the TV. Again, just to back up, they began to bring in DEI umps about 5 years ago, who are, of course, the worst umps in the league. And they began to have this system where you can challenge the call. Okay. The challenges became so successful by managers to the tune of like 82%, I forget what the number was, of successful challenges of umps calls. So what did the league do? They kept a rating system of which umps were the worst.
I love that.
Right. Because you could easily do the mathematics saying this guy, Bob Stevenson, has been overturned the most in the major league. So you had a ranking system, which they refused to reveal. And now they are now using robot umps, because not only did they DEI the umps, not only did they undermine them and their own, it used to be longevity was the system. They started to put in these DEI operating umps, and now they've destroyed the entire umpiring thing. It's just an amazing, amazing thing that they've done. But that being said, the AI version of the umps is 10 times better now than the actual umps, because the umps are so bad. I mean, I'm kind of craving it myself at this point. I can't take it anymore.
Okay, I was wondering if this is something you like, because you're removing humanity from the game, and anytime that happens, and it's something I'm always looking at. It's like, where is AI replacing people? Where is it taking away humanity?
They will be in a headset will hear what the result is from AI and call balls and strikes. So it will look as if the umpire is calling balls and strikes. Now, that being said, the players themselves can challenge the ump's call by hitting the top of their helmet and then going to AI. This is how it worked in spring training. The umps made the calls. The players can challenge the calls if they feel that the ump made the wrong call on a ball and strike. So every single time the players challenged it, they were successful. Again, because they have instincts and they're major league players. They could see that it's a ball or a strike, and the umps were overturned again. So this is not going to be a full 100% AI. It's going to be the system that they created of challenges.
Okay. Well, I mean,
which is not a bad system. It's not a bad system. I hate to hear myself even saying this because it drives me insane, but I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. I can't watch these DEI umps missing ball after strike after ball after strike. I just want to kill myself.
Well, I guess I'm waiting for it to be in football. There are concerns about it, in the sense of like, we have a tendency to think that, it's AI, so it's automatically faultless. And the truth is,
it's not. They admit it.
Right, you could have a programming glitch and come up with some weird things, and we got to be careful, depending so much on it. Like, it's AI, so it must be right. It's like, well, usually
it's not. Like I said, it's not going to be 100%. It's going to be challenges by the players or the manager for the strikes and balls, which is kind of interesting watching it in spring training, watching the players do it. And it's, like I said, it's already been in the minors for a number of years. So it's kind of battle tested down there.
What I would like, and I don't know if this is going to happen, but what if there was some sort of a policy that if you are to, if your accuracy rate drops below 75% on a challenge, that you're suspended for 3 games or something, like
it could kind
of put some consequences in it to help.
Well, the challenges are limited. I think there's a ceiling on how many challenges you can have. I know there are now, because if you lose you get like 2 or 3 challenges or something right now. And that's just for regular challenges by the manager. But the balls and strikes thing, I think it's kind of unlimited. I have to look it up. Well, they haven't implemented it yet. So
somebody's going to get tired. That's the funny part, is that it's going to analyze every single thing that comes by, and it'd be like, check the tape. Okay. Right.
But it's going to be, what happens if somebody challenges a guy being thrown out at second base? They literally go to a bank of cameras in New York at a nerve center. That's not what this is. This is immediate AI determining a ball or a strike behind the plate. They can't look at a camera. It would take forever.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying, is that it is going to be recording the entire time. And you can just look right down and it'll say probably
yes. And the umpire
light up on the board even.
The umpire will hear it in his ear, ball strike, and then make the signal as if he's making the thing. So it looks like a real game. It's kind of deceptive, but whatever.
I guess I would feed into the AI and just put it right up on the scoreboard where it'd be like,
ball, it could be
strike, strike, whatever.
I think they want the tradition of him saying ball 1, strike 2, just whatever.
Well, we can all pretend.
I'll tell you something else. The umpires will probably be relieved that they don't have to fucking do it anymore. I mean, wouldn't you like to just stand there on your job and make believe you're doing your job, Eric? And
not really.
A machine is doing it for you? Or instead of people saying, fuck you, you blind bastard, every single minute.
Well, that wouldn't be cool, but I'm not one of those there are those who would love that, where they're like, I don't have to do it. I just go, and then they'll think that they're actually helping humanity in some way, which always cracks me up. But
by the way, did you see that shooting up in New Hampshire at the country club up there? There was an employee who started yelling "Free Palestine," and he killed one. He wounded a bunch of others. This thing, of course, have had no coverage. It's by a guy named Hunter Nadeau, Nadeau, and the reason I'm mentioning it is he's a white kid who worked at the country club, obviously politicized and obviously a pro-Palestinian because he kept yelling "Free Palestine." The Democratic Attorney General said there was no motive decided on the shooting, of course, because he was only yelling "Free Palestine," and that doesn't really mean much. But nevertheless,
well, that's like trans shooters. I mean, there's no motive we don't understand.
Right. So this guy, he killed someone and he wounded a bunch of others. And the reason I mention his name is because that name, Nadeau, up there in Maine and New Hampshire, goes back to the 1500s. This kid's family is so deeply blue-blooded, Mayflower entrenched that I did a dive on his name and his family, and it goes back literally in the region in Maine and New Hampshire to the 1500s.
Wow.
1607. When
I was going to say 1600s, yeah.
16th and 17th century.
17th century. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But again, no coverage, which is why I'm bringing it up. The guy's name is Hunter Nadeau.
Okay, well, you said Palestine, so I'm going to jump and use that as a segue.
The British are now putting it on the addresses, official government stuff at the embassy in Jerusalem, and now listing the country of origin immediately as Palestine.
What I love about this is talking about unintended consequences. They declared that Palestine is a state. Now, because they declared this as a state, well, you know what? States get rights. And rights, well, they can now demand reparations from England, Great Britain, etc. Oh, and they're looking at maybe $2 trillion.
That's for starters. It's 2 trillion pounds, by the way.
And I'm like, oh my God. Think about that. Think of the chutzpah, though. It's like, please recognize us.
I love when Hunley uses Yiddish words during the high holy days. It thrills my heart.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
No, you said chutzpah. I said, oh my God, my partner's speaking Yiddish now. This is great. Things are really moving along here.
All right. As long as it's the appropriate usage, that's all.
That is the appropriate usage, and this is Rosh Hashanah, one of the week of high holy days in the Jewish calendar, and of course, naming a state that doesn't exist to be the Palestinian state is the height of governmental hypocrisy. I mean, there can be no nothing as crazy as this. They have no state, they have no capital, they have nothing. But Mahmoud Abbas is the guy demanding the 2 trillion pounds in in reparations, Eric. He is the head of the PLO, and he has a PhD, which I was always fascinating about. He went to PLO University in Palestine, the new country, and he got a PhD a number of years ago in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. He is the leading expert on a phony set of documents which were created by either Russian intelligence or French intelligence in the 1800s. And Mahmoud Abbas has a PhD in the study of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion.
So it's like a PhD in Mein Kampf almost.
Well, Mein Kampf is a real book. I mean, that's
true.
Right. That would not be a good example. Maybe it would be a PhD in Clifford Irving's biography of Howard Hughes, which was a forgery by writer Clifford Irving, if you remember the story back in the 70s. But anyway, so Abbas is the one demanding £2 trillion.
Or Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There we go.
Okay. All right.
So, PhD.
Now, DHS is, by the way, speaking of Kristi Noem, DHS is refusing to comply with the most recent laws. I think they make a law every 5 minutes up in Sacramento, California. They're called lawmakers, and they're not called law revokers.
They deliver.
they deliver. I mean, it's just astronomically insane, the numbers of laws that they create up there in Sacramento every single day. So they created a law banning the Department of Homeland Security and ICE agents from wearing masks, but not demanding in the same law. These are the people that get a pass. The state police of California can wear masks. The crazy lady in the dairy department at Ralph's supermarket can wear a mask. And Antifa, now declared a terrorist organization by the President of the United States, can wear masks. However, the only one who can't wear masks are the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, and any federal agents operating in the state of California.
Which, of course, puts an immediate target on them, so you can tell, oh, maskless ones, that's the government.
Right.
You know, those are the agents. But while we're on that.
Well, let me just say that one more thing. The DHS issued a statement saying we will not be observing this unconstitutional law signed by Gavin Newsom.
Okay. Which is fine. I mean, just ignore him.
Yeah.
What's he going to do about it? It's like, let's go ahead and do it. Please do something.
The masked agents of the state police will come to try to arrest the masked agents of the federal government.
Exactly, which is a constitutional crisis.
Right.
And that's why I think it's a perfect thing. Speaking of which, did you see that they're arresting the tow truck drivers?
Yes, I did see that. Yes, they have found them.
Hemming them up, and I'm like, okay, this is wonderful.
Beautiful.
But you know what that is, in my opinion, that's auto theft. If that vehicle's parked up,
it's grand theft auto.
Yeah, or even more. And stealing government property too, so you can tack on charges.
There's a lot of renegade tow truck operators in East LA who essentially do what you just described. They will tow a car and then impound it and make you. This has gone on since I've lived here in LA, where these rogue towing companies who need the money will literally tow away your car, leave a note, or tell you where it is, and you have to pay to get it out.
Hold it hostage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd go and do that with the government. I love it because they're looking at like 10 to 20 years.
I love this.
So good examples, but not to leave Homeland Security. You saw what's going on with Homan, right? This is a funny story. I was talking to Nate about it earlier. And apparently, okay, this is a classic move. They knew that if Trump won, that Homan was going to be in there. And in my opinion, they set him up.
Oh, yeah. No, it's been established. Yeah.
No, but what I love is that the balls he has is freaking funny, because they said, hey, we're going to give you $50,000. And if you get into office, help us out later. And he was like, okay, I'll take your money. He took the money and he didn't help him out. So they couldn't do anything about it because he did not fulfill the promise, and it was entrapment.
I just want to say that he was on with Rob Finnerty last night, and he claims he never took the money.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just to add to that, but the rest of the story is completely accurate. What you just said. He was offered the money, turned it down. He never took the money, and they're running with a story that he was offered a bribe, which is true. And he said, "I never took the money."
Well, I was talking to Nate earlier. Even if he did take the money, that which would just be the most hilarious thing of all. It's like, oh, thank you, because they can't do anything about it. Taking the money is not a crime in of itself. If he does nothing and he doesn't help anybody, it's like, oh, you want to give me money?
Saying, he was emphatic about not taking the money, so I have to believe him until proven otherwise. There's nobody saying or proving that he ever took the money. It sounds like they were trying to frame him.
Oh no, they were trying. I don't think they were trying to frame him. I think they were trying to get it, and the second Trump got in, it'd be locked up, and then they've got the whole ICE problem. Take him out before it happens.
Good point.
I want to investigate, why were they doing this? What reason do you go around offering
I have no idea.
A person $50,000 unless you're doing entrapment? That's against the law, so they should be investigated for what they were doing, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, Patel and Bongino have got to produce somebody who goes to jail. Again, we've talked about this since the election, and yet we've seen no perp walks that I know of so far from Bondi.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, we saw Trump.
By the way, there's a new film out called RFK Legacy by Oliver Stone and Sean Stone. I've not seen it. It's from Angel Films, by the way, which is the Christian film company that's produced a bunch of different hits of late. Angel is a membership-driven film company where the members vote to green light projects, among other things. And there's an annual membership fee, I think. Anyway, so this RFK Legacy has compares RFK Jr. to his father. And it seems to be, I couldn't figure it out. They were both on TV with Piers Morgan. And it seems to be about the Kennedy assassination in '68. And it seems to be about the current RFK Jr. compared to his father. I haven't seen it, so I just wanted to put that out there. It's called RFK Legacy, and it's either directed by Sean Stone or produced by his father or both.
Probably directed by his son and produced by the father.
That's what I think
it is. Use the name, and
that's what I think it is.
That makes sense. Keep it in the family, help move it along.
Yeah.
While we're on RFK Jr., I was actually pulling this article. What are your thoughts about the whole autism to acetaminophen?
I think they're correct. I mean, this has not been talked about. This has been discussed. How many things can Tylenol get involved in that are scandals? I mean, going back to the Tylenol killer, and I mean, this Tylenol thing it's an amazing drug that is in every crevice of American society, medical, every medicine cabinet, every school. And apparently there is side effects for pregnant women taking Tylenol.
Well, I know for a fact there are side effects for normal people taking Tylenol. Like, you're limited how many you can take in the day. It's liver damage. Like,
dude, I had to go to the emergency room. I had a dental toothache, and I intentionally took too many Tylenol, and my stomach was killing me. I had to go to the emergency room here, and they gave me this iced charcoal drink to clean my liver out because I didn't want to take codeine, and I took Tylenol without codeine, and the Tylenol almost shredded my liver and stomach. I had to go to the emergency room.
And that's something I find interesting is, I don't know, this is purely anecdotal, but when I was in the military, they did not hand out Tylenol like candy. You would think they would, right? Because they handed out ibuprofen.
Absolutely.
And 800 milligrams ibuprofen, which is just very interesting because Tylenol has had this sort of halo around it for a long time. Like it's the alternative. It's the safe one. It's the one used in hospitals. And it does make you wonder why. But at the same time, I can see where it might have a factor, but I feel like there are other factors too, like other.
Well, they admit that. They admit that. But I mean, the numbers going back to the 80s, It was the amount of autistic children was, as they said in the press conference, was like 1 in 2,000 in the 80s. Now it's 1 in 35. So this thing has gone off the freaking rails. And this is not self-diagnosis. These are babies, being born and diagnosed as autistic very early on. You know what I mean? This is not a self-diagnosis. I have autism. I'm 7 years old. These numbers have gone off the rails, and they believe that Tylenol is part of it, Eric.
It could well be. And I think that Trump pointed out that there are very few cases, I believe, with the Amish as an example, which is always a neat thing.
Control group. It's a great control group.
Yeah, it's a natural experiment going on under your nose.
Yeah.
And I think that would be of interest as well. But okay, well, I'm curious to see how it all shakes out. I would say that Bobby Kennedy needs to up his security even more.
Yeah, they had a bomb scare this week.
I mean,
no, they're coming for him, bro. They are coming for him. There's more dog whistles than there are in a circus for this guy. The hatred of being manufactured from a guy who has fought big pharma and the environmental polluters his whole life is insane. It's absolutely crazy.
That's the point, though.
I know.
Speaking of fighting, this is so pathetic. I don't know if you saw this today. Trump with the UN. So he's going along, headed to to the conference.
Yeah,
walking along here. Okay, everybody's going up. Goes to step on the escalator, and it's shut down.
Oh, interesting.
They literally shut down the escalator right when he's about to hit it.
What a bunch of pigs.
And then, before he started, the teleprompter was broken.
Yeah, they're fucking with this guy. They're fucking with him.
I mean,
on his home turf. On his home fucking turf, bro. It is. This UN has got to leave the city of New York. You have got to turn this building into a homeless, a shelter for the homeless. Forget about these hotels. Gut this building. Put them in there. It's on the East River. It's a great location. And get these mutts out of the city.
Yeah, just stop funding it. Dump it. Be like, you know what? You're on your own. Set up like a U.S. Favored nations partner status, and the rest of the world, you're on your own.
The Parisians would love to have it. Put it in Paris.
Oh, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, put it in Alberta, Canada. Who gives a shit? Just get it out of New York.
I just say get rid of it. But speaking of what he did, I love it. He's out
in
there
Western countries
calling them out
and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States.
Wow.
Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out.
Wow.
The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that?
Unbelievable.
On the way to infiltrate our southern border.
It's a war.
Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration.
It's not incompetence. They were quite competent in doing
totally
it.
Stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them.
Right on.
And not finance them.
Right on.
In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net. We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it. I'm not mentioning names. I see it, and I can call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal on Western.
Yep. And I love that he just goes right there and calls them
Wow.
out to their face. No,
right. Well, cut off the money to these people. He's cutting off the money to everybody else.
No,
cut it off. Get them out of here.
I agree. Speaking of cutting them off, I just happened to see this, and this is very disturbing.
What?
Pete Hegseth released this recently. Somebody reshared this, but you've got to hear this. It is frightening to the core.
The W11
last month,
spread
the
collar.
Department of
I'm sorry, what?
The W11 spread collar, by the way, for those custom shirt episode aficionados.
Oh, that's what he's wearing. Okay.
W11. It's the most formal collar you could possibly wear. Usually
outside of a tuxedo.
Yeah, outside of a tux. I don't know why he wears a W11. But I had to say something. It's just too crazy of a collar.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Last month, the Department of Defense was made aware of an Obama-Biden era legacy program called Digital Escorts. For nearly a decade, Microsoft has used Chinese coders, remotely supervised by U.S. contractors, to support sensitive DOD cloud systems. The program was designed to comply with contracting rules, but it exposed the department to unacceptable risk. I mean, if you're thinking America first and common sense, this doesn't pass either of those tests. So I initiated an immediate review of this vulnerability, and I want to report our initial findings. So the use of Chinese nationals to service Department of Defense cloud environments, it's over. We've issued a formal letter of concern to Microsoft documenting this breach of trust, and we're requiring a third-party audit of Microsoft's digital escort program, including the code and the submissions by Chinese nationals. This audit will be free of charge for U.S. taxpayers. I'm also tasking the Department of Defense experts with a separate investigation of the digital escort program and the Chinese Microsoft employees that were involved in it.
Now, I just want to explain why this is so horrible.
I just want to say that digital escort sounds dirty and sexual, but go on.
It is very dirty, and I'm sure it's very sexual in there too. The Microsoft very famously won the U.S. government cloud contract over Amazon several years ago, and it was a big deal. That's what
big deal.
That's what put Microsoft on the map, and their Azure going all the way up is the government cloud. I worked for a government contractor. We had our data on the cloud.
Okay.
Now, what we're doing is offloading all government systems. They're being shared on the cloud. So all data is within the cloud. And you have Chinese nationals working on this for tech support. Literally a back door that is in there through Microsoft. Yes.
The front door. It's not even a back door.
And it is so staggering that this even exists. I mean, it would be bad enough if it was India or something, but good God.
Why do they always have to use Chinese nationals for these things?
Dude, it is what it is. I don't know why. I mean, it's Microsoft. It is horrible. I mean,
you know what's amazing about all these things where we've caught them doing things? They completely capitulate immediately. In other words, nobody fights these things where we're catching them. They always go, okay, thank you. We'll never do it again. In other words, it's all it takes is the bright light of the media or the department to highlight what's been going on, and they completely collapse. They completely capitulate, Eric.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, I'm generalizing, but for the most part, shining a light on these crazy policies is really just enough to end the crazy policies because they're so brazen that the people doing them go, oh my God, yeah, we knew it was crazy. We were doing it. We're sorry that we did that.
But it shouldn't even get to that. I mean, we're talking people should be arrested here. I mean, Microsoft not only should be audited.
Yeah.
But I would literally reopen negotiations with Amazon and say, how are you going to prove that you're secure? Then force Microsoft to pay the bill to move all the data to Amazon, and I want a refund.
Well, maybe Jeff Bezos is the one. Maybe Bezos is the one who tipped him off to this. He might have been the whistleblower. He lost the contract.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison has a cloud service that could be done, but it's beyond unacceptable. I mean, we're talking about when I was with the government, you can't mischarge your lunch, or you could go to prison for, misuse of a government credit card. But we're going to open the entire cloud with all government data
to the Chinese.
Yeah.
It boggles the mind. It really boggles the mind how vulnerable intentionally through bribery and corruption and ineptitude we've allowed our defenses to become here to the Chinese. It's just terrifying. You can't say enough of negative shit about the invasion by the Chinese in multiple platforms of our society.
And I mean, I love free enterprise. To my core, but that is, I think, the true weakness of capitalism is the greedy mofos that.
Why do we need Chinese students in our universities? Again, nobody explains it. Yes, they're paying through the nose. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Our universities can't survive without Chinese students. It's absurd.
And they're squeezing out Americans.
They're squeezing out Americans. They're reporting to the Chinese embassy once a month, based on Chinese law, to report anything or everything they've seen in the course of the last month. Who needs this? Who needs this? This is insane. Insane.
By the way, did you see that Trump may have killed the H-1B program?
I also saw that he may have a deal for TikTok by next week with the Chinese.
With Larry Ellison, same guy we just talked about, who was buying, his son is buying CBS. So,
Paramount is now shopping to buy Warner Brothers. This Skydance situation with David Ellison, who took Skydance and Paramount, became one, and they got rid of Sherry Redstone, the old guard. They're now looking at Warner Brothers Discovery because they can't, like I've said on this show, they can't survive on their own anymore.
They have to.
There was a guy with a YouTube video. He's interviewing Mel Gibson this week. I don't even know who the guy was, but he snuck onto the lots and filmed the empty lots in Hollywood. There's no caterers, there's no trucks, there's no people. They're just empty Hollywood lots. And Gibson said, "Yeah, I know all about it." Mel Gibson was talking about he had a one-day reshoot on a film that he shot in Italy or something, and he needed to do a one-day reshoot. He literally flew the entire crew to Las Vegas to do the one-day reshoot because he couldn't afford to do it in Los Angeles. Not the film, just the one-day reshoot of a film he entirely shot overseas to save money. That's how egregious it is to try to shoot a film here.
They deserve to die.
Of course, absolutely.
Good God. And then with AI coming down the pike, it's like you're begging. You're begging.
These studios, which used to be hustling and bustling, and I don't remember a time when they weren't. And I mean, there's caterers in there, there's trucks, there's props people. Nothing is going on. They're empty, and nobody covers the story. This kid snuck in and filmed the empty Paramount lots, the empty Warner Brothers lots, and the empty lot at Sony out in the West LA. And I was like, holy crap, it looks like COVID again. You know what I mean? It looked like that 5 years ago period of time.
Good on the kid, by the way.
Yeah, great job. And then he somehow got Mel Gibson to do an interview with him.
Probably because he had the balls to go and do it. I'm sure Mel's like, what are you doing? Wow. Let me get through some super chats here. Pamela Clifton. We love Pamela. Happy Tuesday, guys. Just got off from substitute teaching at high school.
Boy, there should be a Purple Heart for people who substitute teach in high school.
I agree.
You ought to get some medal for, at least in my school, which was a war zone. The substitute teacher was fair game just to take them down. The things we did to substitute teachers should have been war crimes.
Yeah, I agree. Jack White. Would love to see you guys do episodes on the Frankfurt School. Herbert Marcuse, Paulo Freire, John Money, Walter, Durante, Rockefeller, et cetera, et cetera. I'm actually interviewing somebody tomorrow and it'll be coming out in a couple of weeks about DEI and the universities and the infusion of leftist politics on my other channel. So, and we have talked about these folks before. Great book. Andrew Breitbart's book, Righteous Indignation. He goes into it a little bit. James Lindsay has done a ton of work talking about that. So there are some options. But Jack White has been a member for 8 months, and the Cheneys, the Bushes, Pelosi family, FDR. Okay. So the entire 20th century, intellectual, I got it. Bob Tranquilli gifted 5 America's Untold Stories memberships. Thank you, Bob, very much. And we have Ken Martin. Have you seen the story about our Space Force ghost ship of Venezuela? 460 operators with Helo flight deck, or Special Forces ghost.
I don't know what that
I don't
means.
know anything about.
What's a ghost ship? I mean, a ship on the ocean or something, or a ship flying?
I always said a ghost ship is like where the crew died and it's just out there. But
well, what is Spec Force? Does he mean Space Force or
maybe Special Forces?
Oh, Special Force. Okay, all right. With Helo flight deck, I don't understand that one. Maybe Ken can come back a little later.
Yeah, Ken, I am sorry, I just don't quite.
Yeah, some of these are hard to understand.
And I understand you're limited by some of it. Stephen Greco, question. What specifically was removed from W. Manchester's book commissioned by Jackie and Bobby? LBJ, love you guys, and you always get my money until I die.
Well, from what I understand, and this is speculation through the years, well, so that's not speculation. The fact that Jackie Kennedy's own interview was removed from the book is not speculation. That there was a chapter, and she allowed over multiple days to be interviewed by William Manchester as per her direction because she hired him. And once they read it in galley form, I think Bobby read it and had a heart attack. And the rumor was that she was fingering LBJ as the mastermind behind the assassination of her husband, which led to a federal lawsuit to, I don't know, it was federal. I think it might have been New York State, but it led to a lawsuit to prevent the publication of that particular chapter, which apparently, according to Larry Schnapp, is now being guaranteed to be produced by Congresswoman Luna. If I've got this story straight, I don't know how. I have no idea how. It was in the safe at William Manchester's house when he passed away about 5 years ago. We were hoping his son would publicize it. The son put it back in the safe. And that's the last I've heard of the chapter interview of Jackie Kennedy for William Manchester's book, The Death of a President. He had also written the book, Making of a President. But she handpicked
I could see them being able to even get that would be if they were opening an investigation and demanded it. Because I'm like, what are you going to do? Send them a strongly worded letter?
I don't know.
We'll turn over the chapter.
I'm just saying what Larry Schnapp said. What she told him. I would love to see it, of course. I just don't understand the procedure to get this private document out from the safe up in, I think it's New Hampshire, where they were from, or Boston, up in the Northeast somewhere. But that being said, Bobby Kennedy and her went to court every day during this trial against Manchester, and were victorious in having the judge suppress that particular chapter for reasons, again, I make no legal sense. They hired the guy. She wasn't forced to give the interview. It wasn't like a wiretap. She sat for him every day.
Oops, I said too much. Take that out.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
All right, Soul Doggy. If nobody is prosecuted for the criminal censorship of conservatives on YouTube, then when the libs regain power, they will do it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I completely agree.
And won't even be when they get power. It's as soon as your back is turned, they're going to do it.
Section 230's got to go. This has been kicking around for too long. They spend too much money lobbying congressmen, social media companies. It's got to be curtailed. 230's got to go.
It's got to be revised. There is a purpose to
whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a purpose to 230, but the problem is technology has outpaced what it was for. The Section 230 was originally created for bulletin boards. I don't know if you remember CompuServe and Prodigy, and I think it was Prodigy, but anyway, there was a problem where Prodigy or whatever it was taking down CP. It's YouTube. We can't talk. and other content that is, really bad off of there. And they were getting hit up saying, you can't take that down because you're not a publisher. You're just a platform. So you can't. And so Section 230 was put into effect so they could take down, specific content and not be held accountable if they, clean up the bulletin boards, if you will. But now it is stretched beyond where they're using it in a censorship mechanism and they're acting as a publisher versus a platform.
They've got it going both ways. They have the cake and eat it too.
Which is usually the case. And by the way, that's
it really is because you want to talk about AIPAC. Your real problem is these companies burying congressional people with money to prevent the repeal or alteration of Section 230, as Eric pointed out.
Well, because it's cheap for them. That's the whole principle of the network effect and what they all strive to do. It's like you're like, well, how is it? How can they run this service? They just lose money and it's just pouring out year after year. How are they doing it? Well, the idea is they become too big to fail. Now, all of a sudden, they're so big, then they turn on the spigot. So Amazon, very famously, for about 20 years, made money maybe 1 year and barely. They always threw it back in the infrastructure, always let them eat it on taxes and everything else. And now Amazon's just printing money. And they are so big, such a monstrosity that nobody can really get a hold of them.
Right. Wow.
But this is a perfect super chat, I think, to wrap up our session here on YouTube with. And that's from Fletcher Boy, Mark Shanatova. I guess that's...
thank you, Fletcher Boy. Just a couple of two things. Speaking of thank you so much, Fletcher Boy. Just wanted to mention the hummus eaters, of which I am one, and Tucker's calling us out for killing Christ yesterday. I thought this was dead and buried, but apparently Tucker has revived the blood libel against the Jews for killing Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior of so many millions and millions and millions of people. Then laughing maniacally after he does that. The whole thing was so startling, Eric, that I just have to presume that this guy is back abusing substances again, because none of it makes any sense. He is, by his own admission, a former substance abuser who quit cold turkey. I don't know how many people survive that way, but he seems to be out of his mind at this point, saying the craziest things, laughing maniacally. I don't know why he was at the Charlie Kirk Memorial to begin with, and now Eric has informed me that he's going to be part of a tour going around the country calling out the Jews and Israel for crimes against Jesus Christ. This could not end well, people. This could not go well.
Actually, you know what? Let's just look at it. We got two parts of this. Starts off with him, going out, and this is a 14-second clip. And he mentions Susie Wiles.
Oh, that made me emotional. Made me emotional to see that. Susie Wiles had tears in her eyes, which you don't often see in politics, but it's real. This is the most unbelievable thing I think I've ever seen.
Now, we're not fans of Susie Wiles.
Why is he mentioning Susie Wiles?
What does she have to do with Charlie Kirk at a memorial?
I don't know.
It's a weird choice.
Weird.
It actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it. And they just go bonkers. They hate it. And they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about what do we do about this room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking.
I'm confused. Who eats hummus?
Well, he's talking about Christ's apostles, obviously, who are 12 Jewish guys sitting around eating hummus. I guess they didn't have bagels back then because they had unleavened bread eating matzah, but he couldn't be more direct in who he's believing to have killed Christ.
About what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem.
And you're telling me this is a rational, stable man, Eric? This is
work.
insane. This is insane.
Now, I'm, and I want to challenge the chat and the comments because we're going to, I'm sure, hear a lot about this. But how does anyone interpret this as an appropriate speech at a funeral? Never mind the interpretation. How is it hilarious about somebody talking about killing somebody when you're at a memorial of somebody who was literally just assassinated? I am not Jewish. That's why I was like, oh, okay, that's a Jewish word. I'm talking about, and even I could figure out. It's like, I almost
fell off the couch. I was just watching it. It wasn't like sitting paying attention to it. It was on in the background the other day, and I almost fell off the couch when I heard this. Not to mention, it is all over the internet. I am not alone. There were just thousands of people reposting this from the Jewish community who just can't believe they heard this.
Yeah, and I am flabbergasted. It's the place. I was truly shocked when I saw that, and the laughing. People have described it as demonic, but it really does sound demonic. It's. And I'm not sure. What are you laughing at? Are you laughing that you got this dig in? Are you laughing at the audience? Are you laughing at us? What is
so funny? What is so funny to this guy about this?
Yeah, I don't know, and I didn't even want to talk about it on the show, but I kind of feel like we have to.
Oh, you have to
because there's like a cowardice if we don't.
Was on Eric. It was on the local news here last night. That's how big this story is in LA. It made the local news in terms of showing that clip that you just showed and talking about it.
Yeah. I don't know. And, I encourage everybody to go ahead and, please comment and say what you want. But I do not know how you can put that speech in a memorial. It is so disturbing, inappropriate. It's just
something's happened to this guy. I mean, something has happened. This is just anecdotal. This is just my opinion. I believe it's substance abuse.
Yeah,
based on his history and what I've heard. I think this is the only thing that makes rational sense to me.
Well, I think about that other clip we played recently when he was talking about how he woke up. He was in bed with his wife and the dogs, and he had scratches everywhere. I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe there was a demon that came in and possessed you,
right? Any normal person who said that, you would send them to rehab. He was ripped apart by demons in the middle of the night, left scratches on his body, and any person who told me that, I'd say, let me get on the phone. I'm going to get you some help. I'm serious, Eric. Anybody who told me that story. And yet it's Tucker Carlson. We're going, oh, it's Tucker. He was attacked by demons in the middle of the night. What's so odd about that?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's insane, folks. That's what's so odd about it.
And it's really, I'm sorry, I think it's very hurtful to a widow now that his thing here overshadowed a pretty amazing affair. Her speech. Oh my God!
No.
There was dust in the room. It was hard not to have tears in the eyes when she was talking about forgiveness and everything. Is this? I mean, it is.
I can only speak for myself and my people to hear this on the eve of Rosh Hashanah, one of the most highest of holy days in the Jewish calendar. That from somebody of that level that the Jews killed Christ. It's probably the most disturbing entrance to a holiday season that I've ever heard. Going back to the Holocaust.
Yeah, and people are asking, so why are they including them? I don't know why.
I don't know why. Yeah, that's why we're bringing it up. Nobody's responded in Turning Point USA. Even the media has asked Turning Point USA for a comment about Tucker, and nobody's commented, Eric.
Yeah, I don't know. And it does make you wonder. And, it's like, well, who is, I think, like the deputy chief of staff for J.D. Vance. Buckley Carlson.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I don't know the specific job. I think it's deputy chief of staff, but he works for him. Yes.
Oh boy.
And who there's a company that was behind investing in Tucker, who's on that company, Donald Trump Jr. So there's some issues that are intertwined, and maybe that's why they're not talking about it. But yeah, whatever you think, that was inappropriate. I'm sorry, that was beyond inappropriate. It was actually pretty sick.
Dude, if this is not resolved, Jewish philanthropy money towards the Republican Party is going to dry up, and people are not going to donate money to help the Trump campaign and the J.D. Vance campaign. People have in this community a very sharp ear to the ground when it comes to things like this.
Yep. All right, a couple more super chats here.
Okay.
Pook, Google too. Love your show. I get info overload and need breaks when I watch. Okay, thank you.
You can watch it afterwards, I guess. I just want to mention this case that we've been covering out here, the David Burke case, aka David for David. I'm not really sure.
Yes, D4.
But it's pronounced David, but it's got a 4 in the middle. It's actually, his name's David Burke. He did a video called One More Dance, where he's loading a bloodied carcass into the trunk of his car that was just released yesterday, and it's gone viral. He's covered with blood, and he's putting in the video, he's putting a body into the trunk of his car. Now, this is related to Celeste Hernandez, who finally, after over a year of being missing from her home in Lake Elsinore, had a vigil in front of her house last night, calling for the police in LA to arrest this guy. The car was found in front of his house. It was his car with her chopped up body in the trunk of a Tesla. He has now canceled the lease on the house and moved out. This $20,000 a month mansion above Sunset Boulevard here in Hollywood. He's fled the canceled tour. They canceled the Greek theater concert. His album was being promoted by Universal Music, was supposed to drop on Friday. That isn't happening. And yet he is yet to be arrested by the Los Angeles Police Department. It's one of the strangest things I've ever seen. He's on tour and nobody seems to be able to reel him in. They searched his house. They took the electronics, Eric. They went in and took everything they could out of that house, which was a rental. And now he's just on tour singing songs about her and that she's missing in the songs.
I just want to make sure I didn't mishear you.
Yes.
You're saying he just released a video of him?
Yes. Okay. And the video's gone viral. And he's in there covered with blood in the video that's out there for one of the songs off his album called One More Dance. And he's singing in other songs how he misses her. I can only put this out there on a national level because nothing seems to be happening locally. They refuse to touch this guy. He was supposed to be the next Usher. They were grooming this kid. He's 20 years old, by the way, out of Houston, born and raised in New York. Born in New York, raised in Houston. And they were grooming this kid. Universal Music was behind him, Spotify behind him. There was so much money behind this kid that they're now using their muscle to shield him from this apparent murder that's occurred with Celeste Hernandez, who, by the way, he had in his house when she was 13 years of age. She ran away from the home and was murdered at the age of 14.
Wow.
Yeah. I just wanted to, because there's been some updates since the last show, so I just wanted to keep this story alive.
All right. Oh, fair enough. Let's see. Dan Hack, Jesus said, "No one takes my life from you. I lay it down willingly." Yes, that's in the scriptures. Dr. Evil 814. Tucker is in Maine, where weed is legal.
Okay. All right. I think it might be more than weed, though.
Dan Hack. The Romans killed Jesus. The Jews would have stoned him.
I don't know about the stoning, but the Romans did kill Jesus. That's
right.
for sure.
I know they're trying to, because of crucifixion is a Roman thing, but it's kind of an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah.
Insane. All right. Well, we are going to head over to locals because, well, there's a high Jewish holiday and we need to finish things up. And I hope to see everybody over there where we will continue talking about whatever, but hopefully no more about trunks of cars and
I just wanted to get that
bodies.
out.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Story.
Yeah, it's a terrible story, dude, especially when you're 14.
Yeah. All right. Well, see everybody over on Locals.
Right on.